Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where we're at. Today we're going to be talking about projects-based learning. My name is Jeff Hurley, and our little 10-minute PD today is titled Dessert or Main Course. Okay. Now, the reason why I decided this one is because, we're looking to make a big push into project-based learning. But what we need to make sure is what we're doing really specifically project-based, or is what we're doing actually more of what we like to call a dessert project? Okay. So we're going to go through this pretty quickly. We're going to just quickly define project-based learning again. We're going to define dessert learning, and then we're going to do a brief overview of how we can differentiate both. Because reason we want to take some time to make sure that we talk about this more is because we're trying to roll out more project-based learning in the high school next year. So we want to make sure that what we're doing in the classroom actually has the correct definition of project-based learning. Okay, and a lot of times we find that it's not exactly how we describe it. So what is project-based learning? Project-based learning is defined as students work on a project over an extended period of time from a week up to a semester that engages them in solving a real-world problem or answering a complex question. Now, the big things that I want to pinpoint out right here is that two things. One, solving a real-world problem and answering a complex question. Okay, these are the things that you have. These are your starting foundations. If you don't have any real-world issue or any type of complex question that your students arise with that they want to learn more about and research, you're not going anywhere. Certain examples of this, like you can take a look up at the presentation. Cleaning up a riverbank from spilled waste materials, creating and presenting a presentation to local officials about a topic, and student created. I like that last one, student created, because one thing as we go through this presentation is you're going to realize that teachers are going to have to take a step back, because project-based learning is more of a student inquiry first and then teacher second, okay, to help reinforce exactly what the learning is supposed to be. But like you see example one, that's one that I've seen career and tech kids do a whole lot with conservation. Two, it's very popular with AP Gov and economics. But I mean, these are just a few examples. But you need to know that project-based learning isn't just 1 day or 2 days after the unit's over. So then what would a dessert project actually be? Well, the reason why they call it a dessert project is because this is a project that's done at the end of the unit. You've done your instruction, you've done your teaching, you've done a good job with that, but you need to make sure that you assess them. So a dessert project really is an assessment at the end of the day, which is not a bad thing. All right, we need to have assessments in learning to make sure that we're doing our jobs, but a dessert project is not project-based learning. Okay, it offers a creative challenge, so it could be in lieu of a test, it could be in lieu of other things, but you need to know that it's not the same as project-based learning. A dessert project is just your end of the unit project. So what's missing? Well, again, there's a lot of things that are missing, but again, student inquiry and student design really is what's missing. Okay, dessert projects teacher-led, project-based should be more classroom-led. Seeing here, it gives you a perfect breakdown of the big difference. Okay, the dessert and the main course. The main course is all the instruction. So when you're doing an actual project-based learning main course project, I'll reference it like that now. First and foremost, you're starting with the students, you're starting with your class. What is it? Well, one, we have our standards, so we need to find ways to align our student inquiry to standards. But second, we need to take a few days, a few classes to make sure that we're actually giving our students a voice and the ability to be heard, because they're a big part of the project design. It occurs outside the school community, has to do with our community, and it's 90-100% of the unit. Okay, their research and learning is in lieu of you lecturing, in lieu of you running it. Okay, and that's not a bad thing because it's putting more responsibility into the learner. When you look at that dessert, it's all in the school, it's all within the school world, it's at the end of the unit, it's very, very summative. But the main course, it teaches our students a whole lot of skills in order to be more successful in career and college-based learning, which it has to do with the individual doing it mostly by themselves. So this is going to set our students up for more success. Okay, but we need to make sure that they're more main course than dessert. So looking at it, it's a whole lot. I always remember when I'd go to PDs as a teacher, I'd be overly consumed. Biggest thing I want you to know is when you're starting a project, don't think that you have to start from scratch. All right. If you find a great project via resources, stuff that I give you, your peers, renovate it, reinvent it if you want to. Okay. Focus on a few priority standards on your first project-based learning. It's not going to be, your first project is not going to be the greatest, and you're going to reflect and make it better. But don't try to make it everything. It doesn't have to be everything. Plan early, gain feedback, and reflect. And you're going to gain feedback from your students. You're going to gain it from your peers. You're going to figure out what works and what doesn't work. Okay? But you need to make sure that you do these things and not stress yourself out. And with that said, I just want to make sure that we remember our design elements with project-based learning. You got these 7 elements right here, and element number 1 with the inquiry, challenging problem or question. That's where it all starts. Okay, so it all starts with a good discussion in class. So we have our state standards, we have our units. You got to find a way to transform it, but you got to start looking at questions. The question that causes the highest amount of engagement in the group is probably going to be where you're going to move forward with. That sustained inquiry is going to be that constant questioning. Okay, authenticity, is it actually true? Do we need to really go more into it? Is the question that we're looking to solve, that we're trying to improve, is the project that we're trying to improve the community worth it? Okay, student voice, choice. So I'll give you time to look through all this stuff. I've explained a whole lot of it already, but I wanted to make sure that you still had this because, it shows you that there is a process. It is very process oriented, and you're going to be fine. And with that process, if you look on the right-hand side, I got links for other STEAM projects, some from Destination Imagination, PBL, Edutopia. These are all great resources that I want you guys to check out. Again, don't look to recreate the wheel. Okay, you don't have to. All right, there's a lot of great stuff out there. You look at the left side. I'm not going to list them all out, but I believe that if our students were 10 for 10 on the left-hand side, not looking at grades, not looking at anything else, they're going to be successful citizens, which I really feel, especially at the high school level, that's what we got to be pushing to. So I think we all would agree that we want all of our students to have that left-hand side qualities, because those qualities are what we want in the classroom too. Remember, dessert projects, the learning already has taken place prior. With project-based learning, the project is the learning. So embrace just the unusual as we are striving towards a new type of way of teaching things, because teachers, we're used to being up there and teaching and leading. Now we have to take a step back. Okay, the project, the inquiry is actually doing it. You're going to be there, and you're going to cue your students, and you're going to help them on their way. But you need to know that you need to take more of a step back, and we realize this as the admin team. Finish it up with a little bit of data points. I know you all like data points. We want our student workforce and college ready by graduation. We want them to be ready. Okay, a 2017 Michigan study found over a randomly selected group of second graders. They had 2 groups, one control and one that followed the PBL structure. The one that followed the PBL structure had a 63% in gains in social studies and a 23% in information reading. So we're not saying that this is a complete causation, but this is one drop in the bucket of many, many studies. There's a lot of evidence to back up that this is going to be effective at not only improving our qualitative skills, but it's also going to improve our numbers and testing of their quantitative skills. So it's going to really improve everything overall. Okay, and really, we're not saying you should do this all the time, but do you agree these methods help prepare our students for life? Think about most daily tasks, most lifelong tasks. Um, that this is what school's for. We want to push them in a place in which they're going to be successful the rest of their lives. Okay. All right. Good luck, everybody. You know where to find me if you need me.